Let's do it. Another edition here of Guys on the Go. All the sports talk you needed, 40 minutes or less. It's holiday season. Please, if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoy any of the other Godzilla Media podcasts, we hope that you can support us this holiday season by checking out the Godzilla Media apparel store. If you're looking for merch, it's right there. Just head to GodzillaMedia.com, or if you're listening on our audio side, you know what? We'll put it on YouTube too. Just click on this link. We're going to leave this whole graphic up. We're going to get to our partners in a second. Usually we put their logo up, but hopefully they'll give me a week here where we just have this early part of this podcast about the merch store. If you're looking for t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, and more, Godzilla Media Gear. Plus, if you love the show like Levac and Goz, the debut of Levac and Goz gear as well. It's the Godzilla Media gift store, and now, up until New Year's Eve, 12/31, free shipping on your order. If you use the promo code Godzilla, ship free. Again, free shipping on your order if you use the promo code Godzilla, ship free. There you go, right there. Look, nice little graphic there. Cool. Godzilla, ship free. We're able to do those things because of great partners like our friends over at Mohawk Honda. Monday, December 20th, Levac and I will be broadcasting live from 4 to 6 on the Mohawk Honda social media channels, along with Godzilla Media and more. Mohawk Honda, 4 to 6, Monday, December 20th, your opportunity to find out more about the pilot program that I just recently found out about earlier this month. And now I'm getting into a 2022 pilot thanks to our friends at Mohawk Honda. The change is on the way. It's now affordable, fits my lifestyle, my budget, and more, because I worked with great people like Greg Johnson, Cam McKenna, Lindsey Harridan, John and Service, and more. You know the names. MJ, shout out to him as well. Cannot wait to say hello to everyone when we broadcast live. And if you've got a favorite charity, this holiday season, Mohawk Honda is helping you and those charities. Head over to Mohawk Honda's Facebook page for their 12 Days of Giving, where you can nominate a charity and Mohawk Honda may be giving to them this holiday season. Check them out on Facebook. Again, Mohawk Honda's 12 Days of Giving. We can't wait to be a part of that this upcoming Monday. Mohawk Honda, right there in Glenville, New York. Wherever you're listening across upstate New York, make that drive out to Glenville this holiday season. Get yourself into a new ride. People you can trust during the car buying experience, Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. And our friends over at John Stone Supply in Troy. Just texted my guy Tom the other day. We're going to grab a little holiday lunch before we set up. We're going to talk about our 2022 plans. Excited about that. And for some of you like me, the in-laws, the relatives are starting to show up to your house. I got to make sure it's safe. Trust me, you want to make sure your home is safe, no matter who is in there, whether it's your relatives, your friends, your family members, whoever it is. Make sure it's safe. Get ready to upgrade for those Goodman furnaces that are now in stock. We're talking about made in America, dependable, efficient, and more. Now's a great time to make sure with the winter just around the corner. It's nice doing this with no snow out, by the way. With that colder weather we swear is eventually going to come, you got to make sure your furnace is set to go. Also, air purification in your home, air filters in your home, the Nest, all those things that you might forget about from week to week, but you know are so important. You want to make sure it is safe in your home. And the crew on 6th Avenue in Troy can help you. Whether it's George or Tom or Kev or James, give them a call today at 518-272-5922. Even if something breaks during this holiday season, you're confused, you're not exactly quite sure what to do, there's the number you have. All of a sudden your cousin starts complaining about this, someone has an issue with that, 518-272-5922. If you want, just ask for Tom and sit on the phone with him if your in-laws are annoying you. 518-272-5922. That is John Stone Supply in Troy, helping you with all of your needs this holiday season. Now, let's get into it. 40 minutes of sports talk here on Guys on the Go. Bills fans, what happened to you guys? I got to lead off talking about the Buffalo Bill fan base. I want to root for the Buffalo Bills. I do, as an upstate New York sports fan, teams that I enjoy, especially more so at the college ranks. I want to see Buffalo have success. My buddies from back home, most of them are all Bills fans. I want to see them. I want to have that moment, right? How many franchises are left in sports that if you're my age, early 30s, that you haven't seen the team break through? In my lifetime, we saw the Red Sox end the curse. We saw the Cubs end the curse. We haven't yet to see the Maple Leafs end the curse, but that would be pretty cool if they're able to have that happen. But those teams that have had this history behind them of, will it ever happen? Will they break through? It's happened. Now, the team it hasn't happened for yet is the Buffalo Bills. This season is supposed to be the season. I told you in the preseason I thought Buffalo, because of all the way getting to the AFC title game and focusing on defense in the draft, this would be the year. But instead, what do I get? I find it harder to root for the Bills because of the crying from the Bills Mafia. Now, maybe I'm a bit more defensive on this because the game happened against my favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Bills fans, let's do this one more time, okay? You guys, the Bills, are down 27-10 to Tampa on the road with 11 minutes to go. And the storyline of the game is the officials? The blown calls? Is it pass interference in Stephon Diggs? There have been far more. Okay, it is, right? It is. The problem why Stephon Diggs doesn't get to call is two reasons. One, he sold it too much. There are certain design plays, and coaches will never admit this, but I know for a fact there are plays designed in a playbook to get a call from an official. It's just true. Right? In baseball, we see it all the time when the catcher frames a pitch. There are certain things that are done in sports in an effort to help their team to victory. Just like this. Stephon Diggs tried selling it. He didn't get the call. But the point of that play and then slow it down to the absolute frame by frame when the jersey gets tugged and Bills fans say the referees are against us. My God. My guy Boston Dan is sending me tweets about Bills fans. How he said the entire league is rigged for New England. I went down a wormhole. I was in the twilight zone. Bills fans, just lose with some dignity, win with some dignity. I know that sounds strange sometimes when the tables are on fire and people are jumping through and say like you act like you've been there before, but you haven't. But don't make it hard for me to root for you guys, man. We have to start addressing the truth as what is wrong with Buffalo. The week before, everyone wants to fire McDermott and fire Brian Daboll. And if you want to say the past 2 weeks haven't been great for them, I'm totally with you on that. There's no running attack. They thought Devin Singletary was going to be the guy for Buffalo because he had a good training camp a few seasons ago. It's not the case. Zach Moss had a decent career in Utah. He's been a healthy scratch at times this season. But Buffalo made that decision that they didn't want to upgrade at running back. They wanted to stay with defense. And this is what they got at the end. No true threat at running back. And Josh Allen's got to run for his life back there. And someone would say, you know what, Josh Allen doesn't have enough time. The offensive line isn't doing it. Not in the Tampa game. Todd Bowles is licking his chops, the defensive coordinator for the Bucs. Let's blitz Allen as much as possible. That's what they did. Buffalo this season, in comparison to the other NFL teams, are 0-5 in one-possession games. One-possession games in the NFL and football in general. That's about coaching. That's about special teams. As Levac joked around with you, that's about conditioning. And are we allowed to question conditioning when we might be doing this episode with a few more Christmas cookies in our bellies? Yeah, sure we can. But Bills fans, you look at that schedule, you can say you're going to win out. We could have done that back in November. You were supposed to be the favorite in so many games. I'm rooting for Buffalo. I have the future ticket. I want to see the storyline. I want to go out to Los Angeles and see the Bills Mafia for a week. But man, you guys are making it tough. I swear to God, it's not always the referee's fault. Sometimes your team can play bad. It can happen. Sometimes your team's not good enough. And we can accept that too. That's the storyline of Tampa Buffalo. The Bills took 3 quarters off, and they couldn't do that against Tom Brady and his squad. Signing day used to be one of my favorite days in the sports calendar. Now look, you have games, and the games, they stand alone. March Madness is my favorite sporting event. You love the NFL playoffs. Opening day. There are great days on the sports calendar, but there was something special about signing day, especially as a college football fan that I am, that, okay, we're going to find out the next big names, the ones who are going to take over the sport. Where are they going to go? How's it going to change the future of a program? Since they've split signing day, or now half of it's in December and half of it's in February, it takes away a little bit of the excitement of signing day. And I know you have the big move there. Travis Hunter and Jackson State, one of the great, truly great steals in recruiting history to make that move for Deion Sanders and his program away from his alma mater, Florida State. It's an all-time move that happened. But let's focus in on Syracuse. Because the Orange, so often in the past, I looked and scouted to try to find out who's the next big player, who's the next big guy who's going to have an impact on this team. And maybe it's just the December class and the uncertainty of some coaches coming and going. But my excitement about a Syracuse football recruiting class is as low as it's ever been, at least in the last 10 years. Here's a true story that happened with me involving my early radio career in Syracuse signing day. So when I was producing In the Cell with ML, Mike Lindsley out in Syracuse, one of the first assignments Mike gave me, this is January of 2014. right around February, late January. He said, go find the list of every Syracuse prospect that is signed, and we're going to book every high school coach. So that was my assignment. I was calling schools in Alabama, in Florida, in Georgia, and trying to get a hold of their football coach to have them on to do a 5 to 10 minute piece on their player that just signed. Now, if you're a Syracuse fan, you love that idea. You find out about their strengths, your weaknesses. But that is some pretty hardcore sports talk where you're talking to the high school coach of a recruit who's in the class. It's not for everybody. Some of the interviews were terrible. Some of the interviews were great. But you already knew what you're going to get out of the interview, right? This is the best player. You're going to be so fortunate to have him. He's going to work hard. He's going to have an impact. He can't wait to play for Syracuse. It's the same interview. It's the same interview. No coach is going to say, like, oh, we hate this school, or he sucks, or he's a punk. Like, no. It's the same interview. And maybe it's an age thing now for me. Maybe it was a lot cooler when these players were teenagers like me, and I get to have that, and I get to go through the process. Maybe that's why signing day isn't as cool for me anymore. Maybe it's because the impact of social media, where you got this guy Bus, the Henniger High School graduate from Syracuse on Syracuse.com. He made like all these movie posters, which are great. Like, the art of it is unbelievable. But someone who's 32 who looks at that's like, what does that do? Like, okay, it's cool. I'm not 18. If I was 17 or 18, maybe that'd be the coolest thing in the world, that someone made a movie poster about what college I was going to. And it's simple as that, right? It's really cool. It's harmless. It's fun. It makes people excited. They want to do that. I guess I'm getting old fast. That I went from a millennial to a Gen Zer, and a Gen Zer just loves that stuff. For the recruiting class itself, what do I want to get excited about? Do we know who the quarterback is, the running back is? Are we going to see more transfers? That's maybe more of it. Is that so many players are coming and going, and it's not even in particular to Syracuse, although Dino Babers did say he wants the portal to close during the season. Nice try, coach. Nah, that's not how that works. Any regular college student can leave campus if they want. Any regular college student can de-enroll or everything else. No. Can't, come on. Can't shut it down during that. Not like, it's not going to be as much as I would love it to be like pro wrestling, where a player leaves and, oh my God, Spencer Rattler's playing for South Carolina in November. No. I mean, he's got to go to the school and get enrolled in it. No, it's not going to happen like that. But I want to get excited about signing day again. I've lost the love for it a little bit here. For Syracuse fans, I wish I could break down the big-time impact players and this and that. We can't even do that anymore. Taj Harris, impact player, no longer with Syracuse. Tommy DeVito, no longer with Syracuse. We could run through the list of players who were Syracuse commits, and you Albany fans know this too, that player may not even be on the roster a year or two from now. It's an adjustment for signing day in college football. It's not like it used to be, and unfortunately, I don't get as excited about it as much as I used to. I kind of like how this podcast this week is taking a regional twist on the stories, because if you are out west listening to this, out in western New York, you're like, wait, everybody around me has complained about the officials as a Bills fan. You're telling me people outside of Buffalo had other takes on this? Yeah, they did. Even though the show's probably for Howard Simon and Jeremy White and the guys out at WGR 550 were easy, there were other opinions. If you're a Syracuse fan, you probably thought, wait a second, I thought those movie posters were cool. You're telling me some people are just doubting whether or not Syracuse can make a bowl game and they need to relax? Yeah, probably outside of Central New York, people are less concerned about the defensive end or offensive tackle you sign and whether or not Dino Babers will be employed in 2021. And now the same can be said for the Capital Region. If you're listening in the 518, this story's for you, and think about how other people in upstate New York view you. Some people would say, I don't care how you view me, but think about what just happened here in the Capital Region. Coach Dwayne Killings, not Dwayne Killings-Lee, somehow I gave him a London accent, English accent the last time I spoke to him. Dwayne Killings and his UAlbany Great Danes went on the road and defeated the ACC's Boston College Eagles. Now, here in the Capital Region, that's the biggest story across all the sports headlines and sports updates and newspapers and more. It's all about the big win for UAlbany over BC. Now, hearing that and not knowing the programs, you just think, okay, Boston College is an established school that nationwide has a following from the days of Doug Flutie to the multiple NCAA basketball tournament appearances. People know who Boston College is. They may not be as familiar with UAlbany. Okay. If that's a simple, easy, lazy headline, we can take that. But shouldn't we dive a little bit deeper into what Boston College and UAlbany have done? Do you want to start stacking up the resumes of over the last 10 to 15 years of how much more success Albany basketball is headed Boston College basketball? You listening to this probably might not even be sure that Dwayne Killings is the coach and not Coach Will Brown. Yet that all changed when Will Brown was not brought back for this upcoming season. So wait a second. Albany's been to the tournament a bunch of times. Albany's won the conference. If you think about programs here, Albany's been really good. And Boston College hasn't. So when does that flip? Are we just always going to say the top team, the Power 5 team, anytime they lose, it's an upset? Now, maybe I'm giving the Great Danes too much credit to think that, okay, all of a sudden Albany beating them is not considered a great win. But you've got to think about what Boston College has been the past 10 years. We're talking about a program that's gone 98 and 210. That's right, Boston College over the past 10 seasons, on average, has gone 10 and 20. Last season, the Eagles went 4 and 16. So here, oh my God, they beat Boston College. It's changing the program. It's the greatest win ever. It's one of the biggest upsets. They suck. Like, Boston College is not good. And I know it comes off as like me being a hater, but we've got to be honest about this stuff. If we're just going to always look at as a Power 5 school losing to a mid-major, giving them credit, then wonderful. Just have that take. Get on with it. If the school benefits because it's called a bye game, fine. Celebrate. 3 and 7 on the season to Albany. But we can take a step back once in a while and be like, Boston College sucks. Like, they've been terrible for 10 years. And to celebrate beating an awful team, I wouldn't be going crazy about it. Did the Great Dane basketball program need something to go in their favor because they are off to a rough start? Yes. But this idea that, like, in the capital region, these really small things are big deals, and the nickname of this place is Small, but I always wondered, like, why are you guys doing that? Like, you don't have to put yourselves down. Like, you can celebrate stuff that's bigger than this. Maybe this is what I'm learning living here in capital region town, area, whatever it might be. That they treat these small moments like they're the Super Bowl. I'm just like, guys, Boston College is not good. But we're acting like you just won the NCAA tournament. Relax. Chill. Raise the expectations a little bit. Don't be celebrating a team you last year was 4 and 16. You act like it's the end of the world and you've just conquered King Kong in a movie. Albany basketball. It's going to take a while for them to get better. They won. That should be it. But please, and this goes for everybody in the capital region, think about what people in Buffalo and Syracuse and Utica and hell in Binghamton and Watertown hear when they say, wait, the fans out in Albany were celebrating like it was the championship game when they beat Boston College? Oh, God. It's weird thinking about an MVP of a league being underrated, underappreciated, undervalued. Nikola Jokic for the Denver Nuggets is still all of those things. And you wonder, guys, why are we talking about a Denver Nugget team that is at 500 right now and a more central New York podcast, a podcast that talks about New York stuff? Well, because the Nuggets, I get it, record-wise aren't great. The Brooklyn Nets, maybe I should be talking about them more. They're in first place, but the storylines of them without Kyrie are not as intriguing as they used to be. The Knicks are sitting around a team that actually might miss the playoffs. Called that in the preseason. And by the way, next week's our NBA preview. Jot that right down for you. I told you we're going to get around Christmas time. There's the NBA preview for you. You want the Heisman Trophy recap? Check it out at GonzalaMedia.com. But Jokic does it all. Zach Lowe did a great job on ESPN. We had a conversation. If you've missed it, Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, my guy Zach By. Shout out to him, Zach By, at By's Line on Twitter. If you want to watch this video, Zach Lowe lays it all out. From numbers to efficiency to rebounds to assists and more, just because he won the MVP last season. And their team is right now 500. No one wants to look at him as the most valuable player. If this happens, it seems more so in the NBA than any other sport. Then it's just, this is the guy we're going to give it to. We'll tell you why we're going to give it to him, and eventually he's going to win. It goes back to the days of the first MVP for the Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. It goes back to the first time with LeBron. People wondered, do we keep giving it to LeBron, or is it Derrick Rose's time now? It just happens. This happens in the NBA. And we can go back to the days in the 90s with Jordan, where Karl Malone and Jordan didn't constantly also win the MVP. Basketball has this happen so often. But Jokic and what he's doing right now, even I have to admit that maybe I'm not understanding how good he is. Does he need, like Antetokounmpo got, a championship for us to phrase the way in which he view him differently? I love what Dan Le Batard used to say, and it's a great point about any profession you may have, especially whether it be sports, whether it be media, whether it be a teacher, whatever it might be, and especially at a time like this in December 2021, where careers might be in change, and unfortunately some people might be losing their jobs. We'll use this in describing Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jokic. We all knew how good the Greek Freak was. But whether the Milwaukee Bucks lost or won against the Phoenix Suns, the ability, the skill set, the number, if we talk the old PlayStation days, the overall value of a player, the number, should not change. Like, if the Bucks had lost the championship, the next day, I swear to you, Antetokounmpo would have been the same player. He didn't shrink. He didn't put on weight. He didn't all of a sudden lose the ability to shoot. That's the great thing about sports, is that we change within the legacy of that. If someone wins a championship, when we start ranking them in the all-time greats, then we view them differently. But the actual skill set that they had doesn't change. If you're a teacher and you work at a different school, your skill set doesn't change. If you're a musician, if you're a sports talk host, if you're going on to a different profession to work a different place, your skill set that fast doesn't change overnight. That's what we're watching here with Nikola Jokic. His skill set hasn't changed. He hasn't become less of a player. The Nuggets aren't winning as much. But the idea that you can go from MVP to not in the conversation anymore when your stats are better is wild to think about. Maybe, quite possibly, the most underrated athlete right now in all of professional sports. It's been a minute since we did a little professional wrestling talk. Some people have missed it. More than happy to bring back some pro wrestling talks. The two really cool things that are going on in the world of pro wrestling. First, let's start with the WWE. You see the graphic up here on our YouTube side. The big news comes from Fightful. By the way, one of the most impressive guys in all of professional wrestling reporting. I love this guy. This guy does great work. A little non-traditional media stuff. Sean Ross Sapp. Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp does a great job. He is reporting that Kevin Owens is coming back to the WWE. Signed a new contract. It was almost, to most people, it felt like a done deal. I feel like I've said it on a podcast months ago that Owens was out there saying, hey, don't forget about me. I need a new contract. I love the independent circuit. People want to know me as Kevin Steen in the past, so I'm going to leave too. I thought he was gone. How many people thought he was gone? So what came back? The WWE loved him that much. He got a great offer. Maybe a world championship reign is on the way. Started on January 1st. He's in the pay-per-view, the day one pay-per-view. He's in the main event. Maybe he wins the title. Kevin Owens did what he thought was best for his family, but it's more so not even about Kevin Owens. Like, not even individually about Kevin Owens. And me personally, not even a huge Owens fan. Never even understood him when he was Kevin Steen. I used to watch some of that stuff from Ring of Honor. It's like, okay, NXT, I know he can talk, I know he can hit the stunner, but what's more about it is this, the power that these guys in the WWE are going to have, knowing that the option is out there. Knowing that they could jump to AEW. You really didn't think Randy Orton was ever going to jump. There were some other contracts that had been re-signed by players and athletes. And by players, I mean Impact, social media, take over the landscape. It could have happened. Kevin Owens could have been one of those guys. He said no. And now all of a sudden the WWE fan is invested in this guy. Hey, he's with us. Hey, why didn't he jump to AEW? Oh, okay, this is different. This is starting to set a future for guys that we're going to continue to see, in that all these guys for the last 5 to 10 years, the CM Punks, the Daniel Bryans, the Adam Coles, you know the list of former WWE people, even hell, Jeff Hardy probably a few months here, are going to AEW. And it's something that I've said, our guys JJ and Brian Katie say it all the time on the White Heat podcast. Eventually there's going to be a breaking point where Tony Khan's going to take a step back and be like, all right, maybe we don't have enough room. Maybe we're getting the following that we want, but enough's enough. We got to continue to build our own stars and have that perfect balance. But what really means the future and the change and the biggest coup that the WWE could get, if they even view it like that, because of course they still view themselves as number one, is what could happen in 2024. And oh my, I'm already talking about things that are like an election away. What is it, January 2024, September? I don't even know the date. but already reports, and who knows how the hell they got out there, that Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, is already getting looks from the WWE, Fox, NBC. These big-time television stations and commodities and companies are already looking to sign him when he becomes a free agent. He's young enough. He's got a big enough following. He can talk. He can do all those things and more. Now, I bring that up with almost like a grain of salt because MJF has been using this in promos recently to talk about how he's going to be the biggest free agent of the wrestling game in 2024. And we've watched how some of those storylines have played out well, whether it's most recently Johnny Gargano leaving. I put Gargano leaving NXT. CM Punk's that summer, right? The Money in the Bank and everything else. So MJF is already using that. But to the Kevin Owens point, the correlation between these two, if you want to see, hear, watch something historic in the professional wrestling business, that, my friend, would be it. Because Bubba, a.k.a. Bully Ray Dudley, and others talk about how right now in the world of professional wrestling, there's really, truly not a heel. Someone that you want to spit in their face and slap them and punch them and jump over the barricade because you despise them so much. Maybe since the days of Freddie Blassie and Roddy Piper, if we really had a heel you hated. Could you imagine the venom, the hatred, the nuclear heat for a wrestling term that would be as if the homegrown talent of Maxwell Jacob Friedman says, I'm bolting. I'm leaving AEW for the WWE. Now, I get he's going to play that storyline up for the next year and a half, but seriously, sit down and think about it. Could you imagine if finally somebody makes the move and leaves AEW for WWE, how much those fans would despise him? And that's what he wants. He wants to be the bad guy, and he shows up and says, I'm from a better place, I'm better than you, and I know blah, blah, blah. You want to find the guy who could change the wrestling landscape like we've never seen before and have a true hate? How dare you leave us, MJF? This was your home, blah, blah, blah. You went to corporate. You took the money. You sold out like people used to say about their favorite bands. I'm intrigued. I'm rooting for MJF to leave AEW and go to WWE because it's going to be like something I've never seen in my lifetime before as a fan. And speaking about heels and bad guys, let's talk about Herb. Let's talk about Urban Meyer, the bad boy of the NFL. Everybody wants him fired. Everybody hates him. We could do a whole nother podcast on the reasons as to why Urban Meyer people can't stand, the legendary college football coach. But if we hit a point for some of you like it is for me, then now it's just comical. I want to see how far he can actually go. How many days, how many weeks in a row will a reporter, a writer, podcast host, radio host try to find a story to get Urban Meyer fired? The timeline of this is incredible, from July all the way to November. But now we're getting to a point where it's just stupid for the reasons people want to fire Urban Meyer. The story came out the other day, right, that Josh Lambo, the former kicker, is accusing Urban Meyer of actually kicking him during stretching warm-up. He said you gotta start making some kicks, and he kicked him. I saw some of the hottest of takes on social media. This is abuse in the workplace. Urban Meyer should be fired today. Enough. Like, come on. Do you really think Urban Meyer wound up like he was Adam Vinatieri and blasted Lambo? Do you think he just blasted a grown man in the leg and said, this is my team, what are you going to do about it? I'll kick who I want. Just stop it. Now, if he actually did that, Lambo should have just knocked him out or fought him. If a coach got truly physical with a player, we would have heard about this months ago. Reports are out there that the story has been covered up by Jacksonville and everything. What are we doing? Like, first it was a thing with the girl in the bar and he wasn't really getting grinded on her. She was kind of grinding on him. And then they had the situation about whether or not they cut players because they weren't going to get vaccinated. And every coach thought it, just Urban Meyer just said it. People are just grasping at straws to get Urban Meyer fired. And I don't even like Urban Meyer. I don't like him. Wouldn't want to hang out with him. Wouldn't want to play with him. Wouldn't want to coach with him. But now we're just getting comical. Like, what is the headline going to be this Sunday? My guy Sir Bird on Twitter, Boston Dan, a few others. The bandwagon's getting a little bigger of, we could blame Trevor Lawrence. Like, no matter what Trevor Lawrence does, he's not going to take some heat, huh? Like, never? Everything is always going to be Urban Meyer's fault? Okay. I guess that's the scenario we're going with. I'm almost hitting a point now, I want Urban Meyer to stay. And I'm totally wrong about it. I was totally wrong that he didn't jump to college. I was totally wrong he doesn't get fired during the season. He hasn't left on his own. He could still leave at the end of the season. But I want him to stay. Because I want to know how much crazier, weirder, stranger it's going to get with Herb. What else is going to happen next? Can he actually make the Jaguars get better? This isn't some bum in college. It's truly one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. It is. Just like stack his resume against any of the coaches. He's top, what did we say before, 5 to 8? That's how high Urban Meyer could be in that discussion. I don't want him to get fired. I want to know what he's going to do in year 2. Are players going to scream at him? Is he going to ignore his players? How about the quote about Andre Cisco? Another great one. Syracuse fans know this. One of the reporters asked how he thought Andre Cisco was playing. He's getting more reps. He didn't play. He didn't get in the game. Urban Meyer has gone such a full bad guy mode. It is like Kevin Owens and MJF we just talked about. It is comical at this point. Let Herb stay. I want him to start cutting promos with these guys. Go to promo class with Kevin Owens and MJF. The heel of NFL coaches. I need you, Herb. Stay. Please. Shad Khan, let him stay. I need more entertaining headlines throughout the entire year with Urban Meyer. All right, let's get into our weekend wagers. The weekend wagers come to you because of our friend right there, Jared Lozier, Northeastern Insurance 2022, just around the corner. Now, when you sit down and think about your bills, your finances, your payments, have you thought about your insurance needs? Your home, your car, the things that are most important to you in your life. Could there actually be a cheaper option for you out there? Jared Lozier will find a quote for you that will shop the entire market to find as if you get the quote you need, you deserve, you want. Find the low prices working with Northeastern Insurance and our guy, Jared Lozier. If you want a quote to start off your 2022 year, hell, if you've got a few days off from work and you've got time to think about your upcoming year, it's worth emailing our guy, Jared, Jaredl at nemail.com. Jaredl at nemail.com. And if you're listening to this podcast, just click the info. His number's right there. If you're watching on our YouTube side, go back through all the other videos and you can see Jared's info. Or head to GodzillaMedia.com. Or if you're on YouTube, just look. It's right there. There's his face. It's right there. Jared Lozier, Northeastern Insurance, proud sponsor of Godzilla Media. Get in there with Goz, Goz on the go, Levac and Goz. We talk fantasy, all that stuff. All right, weekend wagers. Let's start with college. My mindset for these college games is I'm not convinced these quarterbacks are going to play. I'm not. Right? Like, these two quarterbacks, both from Coastal Carolina and Fresno State, have both declared they're entering the transfer portal. Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina, Jake Haitner from Fresno State have both said they're leaving the program. So, why would they play in the bowl game? If they're looking towards 2022, why would they play? It's their showcase game? What if they get hurt? You've got a bunch of tape already out on these guys. Haitner was in the conversation for the Heisman. McCall led them to an undefeated season. So the numbers aren't great for me I have right now. I have 10.5 Fresno State. I will take UTEP. I like UTEP in that game. And also the Coastal Carolina Northern Illinois game. Also 10.5. I'd like Northern Illinois. So if I get Northern Illinois, 10.5, I'll take it. Man, I'm even tempted to take the money line for Northern Illinois. I want to get wild. I'll just take that for now, though. 2 games, college bowl game season, kick it off. Give me Northern Illinois and give me UTEP. Also, you know what? Let's add in another one because we're not going to be back again until Thursday. I want the Tuesday game. I want San Diego State UTSA. How many times have I talked about San Diego State on this podcast? Too much. UTSA is the answer. San Diego State lost the Mountain West game. They can't run. Well, they can, actually. They can run the football. They can't pass. They got the greatest punter in the world. They got an all-time great punter. UTSA is far better than San Diego State. They're just better. 2.5 was the spread. San Diego State still got that number next to them. Give me Texas San Antonio to outright beat San Diego State and cover in that game. All right, let's flip to the NFL. All right, 2 games right now I like in the NFL. I like Philly 4.5 over Washington, and I like Miami 8.5 over the Jets. You'll get our full picks. The Hideaway will broadcast live some Sunday brunch, Christmas. Wear your best Christmas stuff for the Hideaway. 10 o'clock Sunday brunch gets underway at the Hideaway. You know what? Let's kick Jared's face off here. Sorry, Jared. There you go. The Hideaway graphic. I love it. Hideaway right there. Get ready for that Sunday brunch. We will be there 11:30 to 1 o'clock. Levac and I broadcasting. Halftime prizes given away. You'll get more of my NFL picks there. But as of right now, those are my plays. 5 games I like on the college side. Give me Northern Illinois. Give me UTEP. Give me Texas San Antonio. The NFL right now, I will take the Dolphins at 8.5 over the Jets. And I'll take the Eagles 4.5 over Washington. Looking forward to seeing you either Sunday or Monday. Sunday at the Hideaway. Monday at Mohawk Honda. Enjoy the week. Talk to you again very soon. See you.